It's time to make some money on UFC Baku. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 of my favorite bets on the card. All right, I got a money line bet for you. I got a parlay, and I got a prop bet. In addition, I'm going to show you every single one of my DFS plays, which are positive over 90 units since 2024. You're going to want to tail those. And lastly, I just told you these are just 3 of my bets on the card. I'm going to show you where you can get all of my bets on UFC Baku for free and all my bets in the future as well. Before we get into the video, I got to shout out the sponsor, Bet105. Bet105 is a crypto sports book, one of my favorite, because they have reduced juice. They have some of the best lines out there for money lines, for over-unders. I used a couple of the bets that I put on this card. I placed on Bet105. Easy deposits, easy withdrawals. It's a crypto-only sportsbook that's available to you in all 50 states. I'm going to show you later. The parlay I'm giving you is going to be boosted by them by 20%. So stay tuned for that. So if you're looking for a sportsbook, or at least a sportsbook that's going to give you really solid odds, go sign up through the link down in the description. You can get a deposit, a free $50 when you deposit $100 with my code HeyJive. It's another tool in the arsenal. I have over 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 sportsbooks that I use, and Bet105 is one that I'm really liking as of lately. So hop on Bet105 if you're looking to add another tool to your arsenal. Use code HeyJive to get your deposit. If you deposit $100, you get a $50 free bet. Link down in the description below. But we got to recap how it went last week. I gave you 3 bets for UFC Atlanta. One of them was Ione Barcelos moneyline at -177. He got it done. It was a 2-unit play. I liked it. I wasn't buying into the Cody Garbrandt hype. Never have. And Ione Barcelos got it done and got his hand raised. 29-28. First round was a little sketchy, but that's Cody's best round, and I kind of saw that one coming. I thought Cody would land pretty well in the first round, but not do much the rest of the fight, and that's pretty much what happened. So we cashed that one. The parlay. Buckley let us down. Horth money line was free. She was -475 when I put it in. I think she covered that. Buckley did not. Buckley couldn't stuff a takedown, so we lose 2 units on that. But we did pick up the Ochoa KO or sub. Round 2 KO. Got it done. +160. I had a unit on that. So we picked up 1.6 units on that prop bet. So overall, we were positive 0.73 units last week on the 3 bets that I gave you. On the year, we're still down 5.4. So hopefully we can claw ourselves back on this best bet show to be in the positive real soon. The DFS plays were so disappointing. So disappointing because Andre Petrosky, they were on the feet the entire fight. And he went over barely. Court McGee, same thing. Was on the feet the entire fight. Went over barely. So those 2 right there made these 2 slips lose. And just the absolute worst way the fight could go. It went that way, and we still only lost by a couple significant strikes. Otherwise, we would have went 3-4. Overall, we lost 1 unit on DFS, but as I said, just really disappointing play, or how it played out, because 2 of the fights that I expected some grappling in, or maybe a finish, just turned out to be 2 3-round fights that was all striking and no grappling, and there was no finish. So, unfortunate. But I feel good about the plays this week. We'll get into those. But we got to hit you with a money line bet first. We're going Bogdan. It's a +230 money line. All right? I'm taking a leap of faith with Bogdan. But more of it is a fade on Muhammad Naimov, because Naimov, I think he's just fights on really thin margins, and he also fights to the level of his opposition. He's not going to go out there and blow anybody away. Now, obviously, if Naimov wins cleanly, I think it's probably like a round 1 KO, which is a possibility. But again, we're taking a stab on a +230 money line bet with Bogdan. Grad's got good cardio, solid overall game, decent striking, solid grappling, good jiu-jitsu. I don't think Naimov's going to, blow him out to a 30-27 victory. I think Bogdan has probably more upside to win later in the fight. And I just think Bogdan can match the physicality that Naimov likes to bring into the fight. So Naimov's a big favorite here. I don't agree with it. I think Bogdan could easily come in here and give him everything that Naimov doesn't like, which is matching the physicality, putting a pace on him, and just making him work. He likes that slow pace, kickboxing into the clinch, a little bit of wrestling. He doesn't like a high-paced fight, and that's kind of what Bogdan Grad brings every single time out. So Bogdan Grad money line at plus 230 is the money line bet. I'm putting just a half a unit on it. I think Bogdan Grad's got a lot of value this week. There's your money line bet for the week. Let's get into the underdog plays. I think we lost the 5-legger last week by like a total of 6 significant strikes. We went 3-2, but the 2 that we lost was like just barely. Unfortunate. But we have hit 2 this year. And we were positive 90.57 units since 2024 on 2 pick entries alone. So I think we can do pretty well this week. So if you're in one of these highlighted states, you're going to want to download the Underdog app. There's a link down in the description below. Use code HeyJive. Get your deposit bonus up to $1,000 so you could put these plays in for free. Or if you're watching on the TV, a laptop, a monitor, whip out your phone, scan the QR code. It'll make it easier on you. And it'll probably auto-apply that code as well. So you make sure you get that deposit bonus. Let's take a look at the plays. All right, we got Oban Elliott. Higher than 47.5 significant strikes. I don't think Oban's going to go in there and just KO him in round 1. I don't think Ko's going to KO him in round 1. I think this fight does extend into rounds 2 and round 3. Probably goes to a decision. I think Oban is going to be able to land a lot of leg kicks, a lot of jabs. His footwork is pretty good. I don't think either guy is going to have a ton of success grappling. I think, if anything, Elliott's probably going to be the guy that's clinching him up. Does have some good ground and pound as well. He's just an active guy. He wins a lot of minutes. He lands over 4 significant strikes per minute. And I think the line at 47.5 is just a little bit too low. So I like the higher on Elliott there. Muhammad Usman, higher than 43.5 significant strikes. I think this fight goes to decision. You know, Hamdi's been hit. He's pretty hittable, man. He's really hittable. You know, May's got over this. Jamal Poe's got over this. Usman's been over this his last 3 fights. I don't see either guy dominating in the grappling, so I think it's probably a sloppy heavyweight fight on the feet that goes to a decision. Muhammad Usman should get at least 50-plus significant strikes in this one. I like that. Jung Park, lower than 62.5 significant strikes. Ismail Nardiev only absorbs 1.52 significant strikes per minute. Jung Park doesn't have the best takedown defense, and I expect Nardiev to look for the grappling here. If he gets into a striking battle, you know, Nardiev's not a guy that really likes to hang out in the pocket. He likes to stay at range and throw his kicks. I think Park's going to probably try to close that distance, or both guys are going to control that distance. And I think there's going to be a good amount of grappling here because I don't think either guy is the best defensive grappler. So I think they're just going to kind of go back and forth. I don't expect a ton of exchanges in the pocket. So I like the lower on 62.5 for Jung Park. Lower than 59.5 for Orolbai. Musayev is a guy that does not like to engage in the pocket. He likes to skirt around the cage, use his footwork, and then explode in with big shots. And what does that not allow? It doesn't allow your opponent to land significant strikes. If anything, Orolbai is going to be looking to clinch. He's going to be looking to slow him down, get him down to the ground. Could land some ground and pound, but the number is high enough to where I like the lower. So 59.5 lower for Orolbai, and then lower than 73.5 for Rafael Fiziev. Massive size disadvantage for Rafael Fiziev. Does tend to slow down as the fight progresses as well. Bahamondes' opponents have hit this in 8 of his last 9 fights. The only guy that went over was John Makdessi, and that was very early on in Bahamondes' career. What does Bahamondes want to do here? Probably wants to stay at range. Probably wants to tire him out a little bit. So how you do that? You make him work. And Fiziev, I don't think, wants to get into this high-volume striking affair. I think he wants to look for his big shots and capitalize when he can. But he can't just continuously walk down Bahamondes because he's going to get hit with a bunch of stuff. So I don't expect Fiziev to put up a ton of significant strikes. The line is very high. So I like lower than 73.5 for Rafael Fiziev. There's your 5-pick entry on Underdog. We got the 2-pick entries here as well. You make sure you put these in because this is where we make our steady money. You can't hit a 20x every single week. You can't hit it every month. You can't hit it every couple months. It's a 20x payout. You do 1 a week. You hit 2 or 3 in the year and you're profitable. We've already hit 2 this year. I'm sure we're going to hit a couple more by the end of the year. These are where you make your money consistently. Oban Elliott and Usman, both higher. Jung Park and Nazim Sadykhov, lower than 1.5 takedowns. This was actually better odds than Yeah, I mean, it's a 3.21x payout. So we were actually getting some nice value there on Nazim Sajikov. He's fighting in his home country where he was born. He is not necessarily a guy that looks to offensively grapple, and I don't really expect him to offensively grapple here. Like, he's probably going in there looking for a KO, and I don't really think Moda has the worst takedown defense either. So they're probably going to just stand and bang it out. I don't even expect Sajikov to shoot 2 takedowns, let alone get them. So I like to lower the 1.5 on takedowns for Sajikov. That 2-pick entry wins 3.21x. Again, if you want to lock these plays in, I highly recommend you do so. There's a link down in the description below if you're in one of these highlighted states. Use code HeyJive to get your deposit bonus up to $1,000 or scan this QR code. And if you're looking for some better lines, you got to shop the best lines. You can do that on Chalkboard if you're in one of these green states. Code HeyJive gets you a deposit bonus there as well. And Sleeper is another tool in the arsenal. They got a little discount on Jamal Hill. I told you last week the discount on Kamaru Usman looked a little bit like a trap. Turned out it was. So I told you probably shouldn't play that. Some of these, they're going to give you a discount, so like it's a good value, but I don't know that it's going to hit. Jamal Hill at 53.5. I don't really feel one way or the other, but could be a trap as well if there's an early finish. But it's a way to shop the best lines. You know, you got to have many tools in your arsenal, so Sleeper is another option as well. They actually got some really solid lines and a lot of good stuff there going on with Sleeper. So use code HeyJive, get your deposit bonus up to $100. There's a link down in the description below. If you're in one of these light purple states, it's available to you. I got them all. I use them all. I shop them all. But, usually they don't drop their lines as quickly as Betr Picks and Underdog. So link down in the description below. Shop the best lines. Let's get into the parlay. Parlay this week is going to be Oban. My man Oban Elliott. And Mikdebek Oralby. All right. Elliott's about a minus 400 some favorite. I agree that he should be a sizable favorite. I don't really think Seok Ko is that good. I don't really put too much into his Dana White Contender Series fight because when I was looking at that matchup, I'm like, this dude from Brazil is a fraud. Like, he's a complete fraud. And Ko was a big underdog in that one, and he won, and I actually kind of saw it coming. I didn't bet on him, but I thought that he had a good chance to win. But he's been knocked out a couple times as well early on in his career. I think Ko's a solid overall fighter. That's why I don't think Elliott's going to go out there and just run through him and finish him, because that's not really what Elliott does. But I think Elliott is a great minute winner, really solid defensive grappler, good offensive grappler. There are some questions, with his durability, but I don't really think he puts himself into harm's way to where he's going to be getting caught left and right. And I don't know that Seok Ko is some big, powerful guy. Like, he's got some pretty solid striking, very composed, but I think Oban's just going to use that to chip away at him and win a lot of minutes here. So I like Oban Elliott on the money line there for the first leg of the parlay. And then I got a Mikdebek Oralby as well. I just think he's the more well-rounded guy in his prime. Musaev's 35 years of age, making his UFC debut. Really, the only reason he's on the card is because he's from Azerbaijan. And I don't think Musaev has much of a future in the UFC. Probably could put on some fun fights, but I think Oralby has a much better future. Very tough, very durable, good pace, solid cardio, good wrestling, good ground and pound, good control on the ground. I think he's got him covered. So 2 legs there, plus 103. I'm putting 1 unit on it. But if you put it in on Bet 105, they're going to boost it 20%. So you're going to get plus 124. Again, if you want to sign up to Bet 105 and you're going to put that parlay in, you probably should put it in on Bet 105 because you're going to get a lot more value at plus 124. Use code HeyJive to get a $50 free bet with a deposit of $100 or more. Link down in the description below. Now, if you want all my bets this week, use code Baku on the Home of Fight Picks Winnable. We get you a 7-day free trial on the year. We're positive 30 units. Last year, we were up over 100. 2023, we're a positive 44.76. So we've been profitable the past 2 years. We're profitable so far this year. And I think we're going to come have a pretty good card here. I'm excited for it because it's early on in the day. And those are some of the best cards to watch because you don't got to wait all day Saturday just waiting for these fights. You get to wake up, grab a cup of coffee, maybe a little breakfast, and then you get to watch some fights. Code Baku gets you a 7-day free trial. That's where you get every single one of my bets on UFC Baku. And if you, in the future, if you want to stay around on the Home of Fight Picks Winnable, that's where you get all my bets and you get them early on. So whenever I put a play in, I send a notification out on Winnable. You get a text on your phone, you click on it, you see it, and you can lock it in then so you don't miss out on anything. You get full access to the Discord as well. Link down in the description below. Use code Baku to get a 7-day free trial and get all of my bets on the card. The prop bet this week, maybe one of my favorite plays. Actually, it probably is my favorite play of the week. Nazim Sajikov, Nicholas Mota, fight to end by KO. Minus 130. Maybe it's a trap, but I don't think it is, man. Like, what is the possibility that this fight ends by submission? I don't really think it's there. I guess maybe a club and sub, but I think these guys are just going to come out and bang. Nicholas Mota is not a guy that looks for takedowns. Sajikov, like I said before, I don't really think he's not a guy that really looks for takedowns unless he's in trouble. I guess maybe if Mota rocks him, he could look for a takedown, but I don't think Mota's like a fish out of water on the mat. And Sajikov, more often than not, just elects to strike. And Sajikov, I think, has more possibility to get the KO here over Nicholas Mota, who's been knocked out a couple times. And Sajikov looks to be pretty durable. But there's a lot of pressure fighting in your home country. Nicholas Mota has the power to knock out most guys in the weight class. I think he's very sharp on the feet, has really solid striking. I think he could bonk him. But I think Sajikov is very durable, so ultimately I think Mota is going to be looking for those shots, and Sajikov's going to hit him with some big shots as well, and probably find the KO. But we're just going to play the fight ends by KO at minus 130 for 2 units. I think Sajikov KO is like plus 130 or plus 130. We're just going to be a little safe here. We're going to play a little safe, all right? We're going to throw the Jimmy on. We're going to be all right. Minus 130, 2 units, prop bet for the week. Fight ends by KO, Nazim Sajikov, Nicholas Mota. Let's cash it. Now let's get into the Betr Picks plays. If you're in one of these purple states, you're going to want to download the Betr Picks app. If you haven't already, use code HeyJob, get your deposit bonus, lock these plays in. Maybe we can hit another 100x like we did on UFC 314. Actually, we are in somewhat of that part of the world. We hit this one on UFC Macau. Was it Macau? Yeah, Macau. Which I forget it. Yeah, it was in China. China? UFC Macau, UFC Baku. We hit the 8-leg there to win 100x. Maybe we could do it again. Let's take a look. We got Jamal Hill, lower than 75.5 significant strikes. It's just a huge line. It's a very, very big line for a fight that could end at any moment. End at any moment. Khalil, I don't think has the worst defensive striking, but Jamal has a pretty good volume game. I just don't know that this line should be that high. Okay, so I like the lower at 75.5 for Jamal Hill. Lower on Fiziev, we talked about that. Oral buy, lower, we talked about that. Muhammad Naimov, lower than 50.5. He's not a high volume guy. I know Grad's pretty hittable, but I think his fight against Aswell is the reason why his stats are so high as far as strikes that he absorbs, because Aswell, very high volume guy. He just landed 100 plus on Balagioki. And then you look at his other fights, his guys aren't hitting him as easy as Aswell was. So I like Naimov lower than 50.5. I think there's probably going to be a good amount of grappling here as well. Some upside for an early finish. Nazim Sajikov lower than 9.5 minutes of fight time. I told you I like to fight to end by KO. KO likely happens within the first round and a half. Rizvan Kuniev, higher than 12.5 minutes of fight time. I don't really think Kuniev's going to go out there and knock out Curtis Blades unless he just hits him with like a brutal elbow or something like that. I think we could see a lot of clinching, a lot of work from the outside, and I don't think Blades is going to come in here and roll through Kuniev. So I think it's going to be competitive. Probably goes to decision. I like the higher than 12.5 minutes of fight time there. Higher on Muhammad Usman. We talked about that. And then I'm going to throw in, as at Maxim, lower than 35.5 significant strikes. Ulanbekov is probably going to be looking to grapple here. I think he probably has success with it. And I think Maxim is not the most high volume guy. He only lands less than 3 significant strikes per minute. And I think Ulanbekov, in all likelihood, is probably going to be able to get those takedowns, and they're going to grapple. So I like all that. 100x multiplier on Betr Picks. There's your 8-legger there. We had to put it in a little bit later just because they didn't have all the fights listed when we put these in. But the 2 pick entries on Betr Picks are Oral Buy and Fiziev both lower. And then we got Muhammad Naimov and Jamal Hill lower as well. 3x payout on those 2-pick entries. Make sure you lock those in. If you're going to put them in my better picks, you probably should, because some of the best lines they have right now are available there. If you're in one of these purple states, use code HeyJob, get your deposit bonus up to $250. Lock them in and let's make some money. Lastly, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Like the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel further, you can go to ProfessorParlayShop.com. Get yourself some merch. Black and white, high-quality tee. It'll help you cash your parlays. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, HeyJob Picks.